player is an important part of the game mechanic. And the player's experience makes or breaks whether or not, the game is a good experience. Tabletop games and tabletop RPGs, card games, board games, they all create this very physical experience that really requires a sense of place. And for multiplayer games, they really require communication and interaction. And there's something really special about that. As the designer, you're designing around that experience, knowing that your players are going to be in a shared space, knowing that your players are going to be able to punch each other on the shoulder when they piss each other off, or look each other in the eye when they're lying to each other. And that's, to me, what makes physical games so effective and so compelling.
Part of the experience of playing in human conditions is after the game is over and someone has been squirted or not, is everyone being like, what did you have? What were your rules? And sort of the discussion that ensues. They want to share the experience that they had and hear about what other people's experiences were like. That is not just a bonus, that is part of the experience of playing the game.
That's gameplay.
Yeah, that's gameplay, right?
Because that exists in Secret Hitler as well. It's as soon as everybody's stuff is revealed at the end of the game, people stand up and start shouting each other. The game is still going on. And sometimes that's the part of the game that the people enjoy the most, because you spend most of the game itself feeling like garbage, and then it's over, and now you can talk about it.
Secret Hitler is not fun. Secret Hitler is terrible to play. It's the gloating and the blaming afterwards that's fun. It's so fun to be like, you are dumb and I am smart, and that is why we won. That's what's fun about Secret Hitler.
It's great to have survived Secret Hitler.
Yeah, right. We should sell that bumper sticker. I played Secret Hitler and didn't get murdered by my friends.
Yeah. I'm so glad for the focus on playtesting that you've brought to us working on this game, because otherwise, when we were working on the Tragedy game, we spent a ton of time just sitting in a room talking about it and very little time playtesting it. And it was hard to get a good version of the game that way because we weren't getting feedback on anything we were doing and we were just arguing with each other. And it was hard to playtest that game because it took a couple hours and you needed 6 players.
Also, we knew too much about Tragedy.
Yeah.
I have too many opinions about Aristotle's Poetics to make a game about that. I would say the really valuable advice, the things that I try to keep in mind are playtest is king. If it's not fun, it doesn't matter. If people don't enjoy doing it, then it's not good.
Pros of having a publisher. 1, you don't have to do the hard stuff. You get to do the fun stuff.
It's true.
A publisher takes care of all the logistics for you, which for us, we haven't done that before. So trying to think of shipping to anywhere.
And working with the manufacturer
Working with the manufacturer, taxes.
A lot of just running the normal business of developing and shipping and distributing a board game. That's a lot of additional work in addition to creating the game originally that we were like, we're not sure if we want to get into this business quite yet. And so that's the biggest pro of working with a publisher is it's kind of a partnership where they get to do that stuff that they're very good at and we get to do the stuff that we're really good at.
Games.
Yes. The first experience we ever had with a publisher was more of a partnership rather than just us giving a game away kind of feeling, because I think that a lot of people assume when you go with a publisher, you're giving away something that you've created, and then they get to take it and do kind of whatever they want with it. For our first experience, it was more of a collaborative development experience, so we would give ideas, he would give ideas, and we would talk about it. Our publisher had the last say in most of the decisions since it's a part of their line, but we did get a lot of executive says for ideas, and I did get to do the art for the game, so that was really awesome.
In 2010, Adam, the artist for Sentinels of the Multiverse, and I came up with the game of Sentinels of the Multiverse. It was a game that we wanted to play because we wanted a game in which you felt like a superhero, in which you weren't just controlling a hero or a team of heroes, but you yourself were the hero doing the things. So we made this game with no intention of selling it or marketing it or anything. We just made it for ourselves. And one of the people we played it with was Paul, who really liked it. He was like, "Oh, this is good. You should sell this to somebody." And we're like, "No, we're not going to do that. This is my game. I'm not selling it to anybody." And he's like, "Well, you could make a company and sell it yourself." We're like, "Okay, well, we could talk about that." And so the three of us started kind of talking about how that would work. And we ended up making a company in January of 2011. We incorporated Greater Than Games and made Sentinels: The Multiverse, the initial edition, and got a booth at Gen Con and went to Gen Con 2011 and had our game there. And we had like just enough money. We had sold off a percentage of the company, a very small percentage of the company, for some investment capital to print the game and to get to Gen Con and things. And we had just enough money that the truck that we rented to drive all the product to Gen Con, if we didn't sell anything at Gen Con, we would not have had money to gas up the truck to drive it back. So at our first Gen Con 2011, we showed up and we hadn't done really any marketing because there wasn't like extra funds for that. We made the game, we got to Gen Con, and that was it. So we got to Gen Con and we hadn't done any marketing, and we just had the game for sale, and it did really well. Like just word of mouth and people walking by and were like, hey, do you want to check out this game? And we had long lines every day. By the end of the first day, by the end of Thursday, we had a line that was like to the end of the hall, and got a lot of good, made a lot of good sales out of that, got a lot of good press, and a couple weeks later went to PAX Prime and had a similar like overwhelming experience of people being super into it. The number one question we got at both Gen Con and PAX was, this is great, where's the expansion? And we're like, what? I'm like, we just spent literally all of our money making this game. We cannot do an expansion. Like I could write an expansion, I could art an expansion, that's not a problem. But producing an expansion costs money, and we don't have that kind of money. And so we looked into Kickstarter at that point. And so we launched the Kickstarter for the Rook City expansion for Sentinels: The Multiverse in fall of 2011. And that was that was really early on in Kickstarter. There weren't a lot of other Kickstarters at that point, but we'd researched it and we're like, this seems like a fair way to do things. So we had one of the early Kickstarters and it did really well. We asked for, I want to say $12,000, and we got $28,000, which was huge at that point in time. So we did that, and since then we have put several expansions for Sentinels on Kickstarter, as well as other games entirely. We've grown over the years quite a bit. A couple years ago, we merged with a company called Dice Hate Me Games, and we make all of those games now in a combination with our own, and we've been working together with that, and we've got all kinds of future plans as well for even more exciting ways to grow.